Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Serene here again. So today we'll be talking about dating red flags. Okay, relationship dating red flags. If you're already in a relationship and you're looking for a way to repaint the red flags you're seeing, or you're still planning to enter into a new relationship, this video is for you. Okay, in this video we're going to be talking about some of the dating red flags, some of the relationship red flags which you should avoid as a human being. Okay, without further ado, let's get right into this video. The first point I have here is if they embarrass you in public. Guys, if someone respects you, they will never embarrass you in public, no matter what. Even if you guys are in the most intense situation, as long as you guys are in public, they won't have the mind to disgrace you or embarrass you in public. Okay, if your partner doesn't see anything wrong with embarrassing you in public and they constantly embarrass you in public, number one, they don't rate you. Number two, is only people who don't respect you that can embarrass you in public. This video was inspired by something I witnessed a few days ago. So we went to an eatery, right? So I don't know what was happening. You know, the eatery was really quiet and there was slow song in the background. Like, it was relatively quiet, so it was not like there was so much noise that you wouldn't notice things when they happen. So the next thing is we heard one resounding slap sound and everybody turned towards the direction, and it turned out that a guy slapped his girlfriend at the eatery. Like, in this eatery there were adults there were children there, somewhere that is always very bubbly. Like, people are always there, a lot of people are always there. So the guy just slapped the girl and she was just there, you know, crying. It really got me pissed, because I was like, okay, you guys are in a relationship. All of us here in the eatery, we don't need to know that you guys are having issues in your relationship. Whatever it is that you were arguing about, you couldn't wait till you get home to, you know, sort out the issue or whatever. And even at that, hitting a full-blown adult is a no-no. It's a no-no, because can't you talk like civilized human beings? You both are civilized. You look okay. Like, looking at them, they were looking okay. They are not mad people. So how are they displaying this kind of madness in public? So it was really humiliating and embarrassing. I, as a woman, I was so embarrassed of that girl, because I was like, how can you be with someone that can treat you like this? Like he didn't mind creating this big thing in public just because of whatever it is. I didn't even care to listen to whatever issue it is that we're having, because it wasn't necessary at all. Okay, so if someone embarrasses you in public, or they constantly embarrass you, or they don't see anything wrong with embarrassing others in public, you know, sometimes you get to know about people from the things they say or from their actions, right? So if someone doesn't say anything wrong with embarrassing someone else in public, they don't respect you. So that is a serious red flag. Okay, public embarrassment is a serious dating red flag. In fact, it's number one on my list. Whatever issues you're having, we are both adults, we are both civilized, we can go home and talk it out. But coming out to the public space to show madness, it doesn't say anything positive about you. Both you, the embarrasser, and you, the embarrassee, both of you, something is wrong with you on the head. The next dating red flag I have here, if the person you're dating have anger issues. You know, there are people that when they're angry, they start behaving like animals. Like, you can't hold them. They have to maybe destroy all the valuables around them before they'll not calm down. You know, they'll be acting like they have something wrong with their head, like something is wrong with their brain or something. Those kind of people, they need professional help. Like, take them to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, or take them to a therapist or something. If someone has anger issues and they can't control themselves, like there are people that legit can't control their anger, they don't mind how close you are to them, they can just hurt you in the process just because they are angry. People like that, they're not easy to deal with. Okay, and nobody is a messiah. You can't save an adult. An adult has to decide to save his or herself. So if you're dating someone and anytime they're angry, they go the extra mile to, you know, destroy things or to make you feel very terrible about yourself, it's time to leave that relationship. If that person is constantly doing like crazy things whenever they're angry, and they don't see anything wrong with them doing that, and they feel like they're entitled to it because they're trying to show their feeling of anger, it's time to leave that relationship, because if you don't leave, one day they'll run out of things to break. The next thing will be your head. Okay. So it's better you live with your broken heart than to live with a broken head, because life is good. Okay, life is so good. You meet someone else better, so just live with your life first. Okay, the next point I have here is during arguments, if they go the extra mile to hurt you with their words. Okay, this one is very, very important. Like when you're dealing with someone like this, is more of an emotional pain than a physical pain. Okay, like you're with your partner and you share some kind of things that you share with them, and maybe later on when you guys start having issues, they'll now bring out all those things that you told them in confidence and now start spitting them to you, and then start using them to hurt you, saying very terrible things to you. Someone that loves you wouldn't want to hurt you. Okay, no matter how much you guys argue, there are limits to arguments. Like there are limits to things you can say to your partner when you guys are arguing. You don't go all out as if you're fighting with some kind of stranger. This is someone you've been with or someone you're very close with, so you don't have to go the extra mile to hurt them, to make sure that you get them in the middle of their hearts, to make it pain them or something. Things like that don't matter. Okay, so if the person you're with is constantly hurting you with words, like they're constantly saying very, very hurtful, really, really mean things to you whenever you guys argue, maybe it's time to recheck that relationship. Okay, because someone that has genuine feelings for you won't go the extra miles to hurt you just because you guys are quarreling or just because you guys are arguing. You need to be careful while choosing a partner, because your partner can make or mar you. Okay, they can make or mar you, so you need to be extremely careful. The next point I have here is if they constantly doubt you when you're telling them the truth. In any relationship, trust is paramount. Like you need to trust the person you're in a relationship with. When you get to a point where you don't trust them and you guys have worked towards it, maybe something happened along the way and somehow the trust you guys had between you was broken, and you see that it's not forthcoming, maybe it's time to give yourself space. Because if someone is constantly doubting you when you're telling them the truth, it's emotionally draining. Like it's both mentally, physically, emotionally draining. Like imagine I'm telling you that this happened to me today and you're telling me we know. That's how you exaggerate. This kind of things can be really hurtful, and if someone keeps treating you like that, you keep harboring it in your heart, someday it's going to blow. Like all these things is going to burst and you have an outburst. If your relationship gets to the point where none of you believe what you're saying, like we come home and then I'm telling you this is what happened today, or this is what is happening, or this is what is going on, and you're doubting me, telling me am I sure, that is a lie, that you don't believe me. Things like that are serious issues in a relationship. Okay, if you have a history of constantly lying to your partner, this point does not apply to you because you created the problem yourself. Okay, you can't constantly lie to someone and expect them to suddenly start believing. Once a human being discovers that you've been lying to them, they'll start questioning every single thing you've ever told them. That's natural human behavior. If your relationship gets to the point that you're constantly lying, number one, I don't see the reason why you should be lying to your partner. But if you're constantly lying and then maybe along the way your partner finds out that you've been lying to them, it's going to be really, really hard for them to believe you. Okay, someone like me, I'll even break up with you because if I can't trust you, how am I supposed to be with you? And you should also know that if you break your partner's trust, like you are in a relationship and peradventure one of you break the other person's trust is not something that you wish away or something that you just wake up and then suddenly you have trust takes time to be built. You don't just maybe today you break your partner's heart, next tomorrow you'll be like, why don't they trust you? How will they trust you? How? Okay, so you need to know that trust is earned. It's not something that you just wake up and say, okay, I trust you. And it's earned based on your actions, your words. If they match, you're telling your partner this is what's going on, and from your actions this is exactly what's going on. It's very easy to trust you. But if you're saying one thing and then you're doing another thing, like your words and your actions don't match, it's going to be hard for your partner to trust you. and that will constantly make them to doubt everything that you're telling them. Like you're telling someone something very serious, and they're looking at you like, are you sure? When did this one happen? Is a lie? All those kind of things. So another red flag I have on my list is if they constantly accuse you of things you know nothing about. Like, you know, there are people that instead of them to outrightly come out and ask you, are you doing this thing or did you do this thing, they will sit down, create a serious scenario like this, put you in that scenario, and then accuse you of doing that particular thing. Now it's now left for you to start defending yourself and start saying things that will eventually answer the question which made them to create the scenario in the first place. I like to run away from people like that, because what is there in asking someone, did you do this thing or did you do that? Instead of asking them outrightly, you just sit down and create one big scenario, one complicated, serious scenario like this, and then accuse them. So it's now left for them to start defending themselves if they did something something they don't even know anything about, or they just assume. People that behave like this, I always believe they have either they have serious low self-esteem issues or they have serious trust issues. Okay, because you can't just sit down and make stuff up and then put it on your partner and then expect them to start defending themselves against what they don't even know. Like the person you're even accusing the thing did not even cross their mind to do, and then you're accusing them, giving them serious facts as to how it's true that they did that thing. Like, it doesn't make sense. Okay, if you're in a relationship with this kind of person, it will be mentally draining. Like every day if you're going home, you'll be asking yourself, which scenario are we going to create today? How are you going to defend yourself? You know, things like that. You know, things like that are the things that drain relationships, and it all boils down to trust and respect. The next point I have here is if your partner threatens to slap you at any given opportunity. Like if they're always like, I'll slap you one day, I'll slap you one day, you better sit down and talk about that slapping one day, because if you just leave it like that, one day the slap will eventually come to pass. Okay, and once the slap starts, it doesn't end. Like it never ends. So you need to communicate about things like this. Be like, if your partner says they're going to slap you or they'll slap you one day, you better sit them down, and so you would discuss as to the reason, like what will lead to the slap, how is the slap going to happen. Like you need to talk about it, whether they're saying it jokingly or as that they are catching cruise, because these days people say things and then when you now hold them to it, they'll be like, they are catching cruise. Things like that are serious red flags, because they'll keep saying, I'll slap you one day. You think that is some kind of joke, that they are catching cruise. One day it will eventually happen on your face or wherever it is they want to slap you, but the slap will shall happen someday. So things like that are not things that you need to take slightly, or someone will be like, I'll beat you one day or I'll beat you one day. You think they are catching cruise because to you they can't do something like that to you, but to them someday it's going to happen. And when it starts happening, you start asking yourself, how did you get to this point? So things like that are the things you need to look out for if you're in a relationship. The last point I have here is, this one is kind of funny, but if the person you are dating, the only time they treat you right is only when you perfuming TikTok videos or doing TikTok relationship goals things or Instagram relationship goals, if that's the only time they treat you well, like they treat you right, you just know that something is fundamentally wrong with your relationship. Someone you're in a relationship with should be able to treat you right, whether or not people are watching you guys. So if the only time they treat you well is when you guys are filming relationship goals for Instagram or for TikTok or whatever, you just know that it's time to pack your bag, because that thing you're in, it's not a relationship. Guys, that's it for this video. I don't want this video to get too long, so I know there are a lot of relationship dating red flags. Comment the dating red flags that everyone needs to avoid. Okay, let's go in the comment section and continue with this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am Onyinye. Remember to subscribe, like, share this video, and see you guys next time. Bye.